Last week I seem to have made a grave error. Due to a mirage-like effect from the heatwave that hit Britain, I seem to have overpraised a film and somehow believed that The Sands of Time was a really good film. Though an alright film it may be, I think that ninjas injected me with dopamine straight into my spinal column during the flick, and my review was delivered under false pretenses. For this, I must apologise.
Fashion, fashion, style, look.
This week, jumping back into the swing of things, I tortured myself by going to see Sex and the City 2. This is because I've had complaints that I don't do girl films, and also it won't be a stretch to get back into my usual mood of hatred. Apparently the film takes place 2 years after the other film, which took place sometime after the TV series. I really can't be bothered to go and research this, as I'm already bleeding from the ears after having an entire being crushed out of me by brain-numbing boredom, and would much rather gouge out my own heart with a rusty spoon. I think anyone who wants to see the film will have already been and watched it, and accidentally murdered their boyfriend in the process, as they will have caused his brain to implode by sheer boredom, leaving nothing but an empty shell of a man where he previously sat. Moving on, the film really has no narrative structure, at all. This is because the whole thing tries to keep the movie in the city for as long as possible, causing the film's biggest downfall. For example, within the first hour of a good film, you've already gotten rid of all the main plot, so you kinda know what the ultimate goal of the protagonist will be. In Sex and the City 2, however, all I saw of the first hour was 3 old women, a blonde, a brunette and a ginger, and for what I can only describe as a diseased monkey scrotum, bitch about their current problems in life. Seriously, the film makes out that everyone over the age of 50 has yet another midlife crisis, and I know I'm only young, but if being married or growing old means having to listen to women talk about their problems and worry about every single aspect of their lives, I am tempted to throw myself in the path of a speeding lorry, because no one in their right mind is as insecure as the film makes out these women to be. However, after listening to everyone moan about their life for an hour, the story leads the 3 women and the diseased monkey scrotum to Abu Dhabi. So the ladies go to Abu Dhabi for a short break from life. And here I imagine everyone is supposed to find clarity so that equilibrium may be reinstated in the film, and all the characters can either return home to their obviously dull lives or to develop even a little bit, though I doubt that development was in the mind of the producers. So after taking an hour to get to what I assumed was the main part of the story, the menopausal girl finds her mojo, a married one kisses her ex, and there is no real consequences. One thing that exacerbated the aneurysm I was having was the fact that every one of the main characters talks about their interfriendship. This is the most annoying thing that I've ever heard, as it was a constant stream of made-up words with no actual meaning that had me sat there trying to bludgeon myself to death with my nachos. From one rant to the other, I would also like to take the time to ask why 3 elderly women going through the change and their pet diseased monkey scrotum would go into the desert, ill-equipped, on a little camel safari wearing high heels. I know they're women, but appropriate footwear would be a necessity in the case of a scorpion or a sand snake attack, surely. Anywho, they eventually get kicked out of the hotel because of some raunchy things going on, which we don't actually see. For being called Sex and the City, I would have expected a lot more sex, or at least more tension build up. So after being kicked out of the hotel, the only funny scenes in the whole film follow. But in all honesty, this is too little too freaking late. But the audience has already been lost after 2 hours, yes, 2 whole hours of listening to women moan on about their problems. And then literally, a minute later, the girls return home, and honestly, everyone goes back to living their lives as if nothing in the film had even happened. If I were a woman, I would take more offence at the film than my review, as the film totally diminishes women, making them look like such insecure, unfaithful whores, but also, as a viewer, the way that every detail in the film is spelt out in such a condescending manner, making you feel as stupid as the main character. But seriously, next time I want to listen to women in an old life crisis, I'll visit a feminist meeting and tell them to get back in the kitchen, or volunteer at a local old folks home changing 8-year-old soiled knickers.
You think you know fashion, well fashion's a stranger.